Voice of Industry.
Voice of Industries.
Thomas, welcome to Voice of Industries. I'm glad to have here you today to discuss on one very interesting topic because it's really linked to management and transformation in companies is how to increase acceptance of digital solutions by operational teams in the shop floor. First, could you introduce yourself and your role at ARC?
Yes, so Mathieu, thank you for this warm welcome, and I'm happy to be here and to have this kind of discussion with you. So I'm a consultant at ARC Advisory Group, and ARC is an abbreviation that stands for Automation Research Company. And we are market researchers for automation systems, and we are doing this for more than 30 years. So I'm personally focused on the process-related industry, and I'm a strong supporter and consultant for the digital transformation initiatives on customer side.
Today we will talk about acceptance of digital tools in the plant. What we can clearly see is today the level of acceptance is not at the level we can expect. And particularly, we are far away from a widespread use of digital tools in plants and particularly around data. What is your diagnostic, I would say, about that?
Yes, I've discussed that with many, let's say, production managers. And what I've learned is the following. Look, the employees at the shop floor, they are really under pressure. They have to deliver an up and running production site, and they are a little bit demotivated by these digital tools because they have to do so many things in the classical automation world, and now on top of that they're getting these digital tools they need to handle, and they can't see really the benefit because many of these digital tools are not simplifying their work life. So that means there's a fundamental error or an error in understanding, because if the employees cannot see the benefits while using a digital tool, they are demotivated to use it, and that seems to be one big challenge.
Okay, and do you see trends on the market that will help industry overcome these kind of issues?
Yes, the software suppliers, I think, they have learned these lessons. And they see similar root causes, because what I can see is we have now more and more OT-related software which becomes more user-friendly. So that means user-friendly, it becomes easier for the employees using this kind of software by modifying and reconfigure this software, and they could use now attempts like low-code or no-code approaches. That means reconfiguration of this software becomes now really easy. Second thing is the contextualization of the data is more clear. So the employees understand what kind of data is really necessary to give them valid feedback how efficient the production process really is. And it is not longer more a scientific dashboards where they see several KPIs and they cannot interpret how these KPIs really measuring the efficiency of the production process. It is now a straightforward approach available to interpret this kind of data much easier. And last but not least, in the past, the, let's say, software tools were only controlled by few employees because they were educated to handle those. The new systems are much easier to use, and so more or less every employee can have access to these kind of tools to get the required data to improve the production process. My question to you is now, with having said this, how do you react and handle this on Optimistik side? Do you see similar trends?
Yes, I totally agree with you, and we clearly see these trends. And for us, what is really at stake is how to democratize the usage of data. Because if you cannot achieve that, you will not have a widespread use of data within the plant. So the question is, how do you democratize data? I think you mentioned autonomy, the ability for people to build tools to answer to their use case without having to go through the OT or IT department. One other aspect you mentioned is user experience or user interface. They are key, and particularly now people are used to have a very nice apps on their mobile phone that they use every day. They don't understand that they have tools from the last centuries were running on their desk when they are at work. But on top of that, I think it's the devil is in the details, because it's not just a question of what is on the surface, so the applications and the interfaces you look at, but also on how you bring data to people. And I think the really key point is to bring data with business context. That means data that is understandable by the business expert in the plant. Will it be operator or technician or engineer? They need to understand what they are manipulating, because we use their vocabulary, the way they are organized is clear for them, and it's taking into account their process, equipment, context.
Okay, that is really great news. But my question is, do you see the similar trend that with this kind of flexibility in the software tool, you increase really the level of acceptance on the employer side? So are we doing the right things by supplying these new, let's say, functionality?
I think functionality and applications are one aspect, but it's not the only one you need to tackle. We are a software editor, so this is all part of the job. But you have also to consider other aspects within the organization. I think I see two aspects. One is the business expertise. You need to have people with a certain knowledge to be able to set up this kind of tools in the right way, giving the proper context, and to also to answer to the proper use cases. But you need another thing is an organization that is data-driven in its spirit. That means to say data is used on a daily basis. And we had discussion previously, and you mentioned fact-based management. And data is part of this fact-based management. But you need to have this spirit in order that you have this adoption. I would add one other thing which is crucial is, if you consider people in the plant as just people operating system and feeding information for the rest of the organization, this will fail. You need that. If you ask people to bring information into the system, you need that this information will serve them. That is to say, they will see themselves the benefit of using data, and because the data they will input or they will follow brings them insights to do their job and to do better their job. And that's it. It's to really think about everyone in the plant and what data can add to their jobs and facilitate their activities.
Okay, yeah, I see your point. Makes sense. And again, good news that the level of acceptance is increased from your point of view as well.
But you know, we attended to an event together, and with one of our customers who was making a testimony in this event. Is from a company in the chemical industry, and he was saying, now we have implemented your solution. We have one issue, but which is a good problem, is that as people they have adopted the solution, they are now building many new use cases without our control. And it's true that when you are at the corporate level, you want to standardize things in order to be able to compare things. But really for us, it's a good signal. That means people, they see value from this kind of solutions. And because of that, they built new things from this solution that I would say the management was not expecting. So this is a good news.
It is definitely, and I've spoken to many of your customers, and you are absolutely right. And you are focused and proud, of course, on the software itself. But we have to discuss really the same process of digital transformation and fact-based decision. You have used these terms before. I think in all the conversation I had with your customers, they were really happy and enthusiastic how smooth and how fast the integration of the OI analytics software was possible. Normally they start with a pilot and then they scale up, and obviously this runs very, very smooth and fail-free for the customers. So you delivered definitely, or you met definitely their objectives. And then another positive surprise, and you said this already, with the combination of the smooth integration process and the easy-to-use dashboards in OI analytics, the many employees are motivated to do more in the system, more than they did in the past. And these dashboards are obviously easy to interpret for the employees, because feedback I got is really the clarity of the dashboards to really monitor the effectiveness of the production process was really easy. And some of the managers mention on top of that, again, after a successful pilot, the scale up was really easy and they did not expect that. So obviously you have done many things right.
In fact, thank you for this feedback, but I think one of the reasons we achieve that is, first, we have an industrial culture. This is one aspect. And also, we take a lot of our time listening to our customers. I think this is really the important part is we design solutions for the industry, and we don't want to be seen as a technical break in the ecosystem, but as more solution providers that offers apps that are designed for process manufacturing industries and give autonomy to people in this industry.
Yeah, and obviously with your invention, you absolutely achieved these kind of objectives, because that was definitely the feedback. So we can summarize: the OI analytic apps is very, very user friendly, and the employees are highly motivated to do more with this kind of software than they have done in the past. Then, of course, the contextualization of the data is something which is highly appreciated, because it is easy to interpret then the production process. Everything is in real time. You see what's happened now and you can predict the future. And I think with this kind of software, it is maybe easier to convert the existing and maybe traditional production into a future-proof and sustainable production environment.
Okay, clear. And okay, we talk a lot about what we do at Optimistik, but if we are more in a prospective approach, do you see other trends on the market that we should keep an eye on to go a step further towards this acceptance in the plant?
Yes. I think we see now many trends that the OEMs, the machine builder, maybe changing their business model as well. So they are really looking into lease model or subscription models for their machines and services. And I can believe that with these kind of service offering, there's completely new functionality in future required to control these kind of machines effectively. And this is something which can brilliantly implemented into the OI analytics software part.
Okay, so if I understand well, and maybe we can conclude on that, is that you see the future are more and more ecosystemic with I would say a strong data integration, not only within the company, but also with their technology partner, manufacturing equipment suppliers, also external process experts. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So we need different core competences because the production environment becomes in future more complex. We have to fulfill more restrictions and guidelines, and therefore really data exchange between different experts. I think that's the key, and the modern analytical software should support these kind of trend.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Thomas, for this very insightful discussion.
Yeah, Mathieu, it was my pleasure being here. And as always, thank you very much and looking forward to meeting you in future.
Thanks.